Hello everyone, hope you're doing alright. I hope you're keeping safe and I hope you're keeping sane. It's nice to be here talking to you all. I'm also sorry that it's been so long, and really that's my reasoning behind making this video today. Aside from giving my opinion on a few things I've noticed within sort of the gambling sphere, if you will, in the sort of the time I've been away. I do appreciate all the concern. I've had a lot of messages, a lot of comments on my videos asking where I am. Obviously, a lot of people naturally being concerned that I've fallen off the proverbial gambling wagon. And that's a natural assumption, isn't it? There's a certain element of thought that if you are a gambling addict, you will always be one. And you'll certainly always be susceptible to it. And I know personally that I am still very susceptible to it, despite it becoming easier to abstain. I also have seen historically a number of people who make these sorts of videos on YouTube that have sort of burst onto the proverbial scene, only to disappear without sort of trace or without comment, after a set period of time. And unfortunately, I think we can normally draw the conclusion that indeed they have fallen back into that negative cycle of behaviour. And one thing I did see in my absence, which I was really pleased to see, was Gambling Sucks. Some of you guys, if you watch my videos, you may well have seen his. It was really good to see he's come back. He's made another video, mainly because it's good to see that he has actually maintained his abstinence, maintained his recovery, and has come back and sort of at least sort of updated us and told us that there are others. A lady called Katie, I know, who used to make videos on here, who I used to speak to quite a bit, who sort of disappeared without a trace. And if by any chance she's watching this, then I really hope you're well. I hope you're doing okay. I hope maybe just the YouTube thing wasn't for you and you kind of got a bit bored of making the videos, and I hope you're looking after yourself. But I'm fine. In all honesty, the reason you haven't seen an awful lot of me or an awful lot from me is because I haven't felt massively like I had a lot to contribute, to be completely honest with you. I often think about things gambling related, albeit probably less and less these days than I have done historically. And I realise that I've already made 2 or 3 videos talking about that topic. And to make another one, yes, there's a certain benefit, I guess, in sort of repetition and sort of revisiting certain ideas and strategies and all the rest of it. But I think to continuously repeat them, realistically, it would just be with a view to keeping the channel up to date and keep creating videos to put on the channel. It seems a little bit of a moot point when people could realistically just go back and watch videos that I've made previously. After all, my experience of gambling hasn't changed since I stopped. And the nature of gambling, yes, there have been some changes here and there, which I'll talk about in a minute. But generally, the nature of stuff hasn't changed too much over the last couple of years or so. So nothing really is there new to comment on. But what there has been new to comment on, what's changed in my absence? There's been a load of changes on the online sort of gambling thing, hasn't there? With all the new gambling commission restrictions on the play speed and elimination of bonus buys happened quite a while ago. But stuff like that, which has seen a sort of very much a downturn in UK-related gambling content online, and I'm not going to go delve too deep into that sort of side of the topic because I know that it's often quite a contentious thing to talk about. But what I will say is that I think that if the general presence of online gambling, the general image, should we say, that the prevalence of it in sort of the online consciousness is reduced, then I think it is likely to have a positive impact on people who may be easily triggered into gambling, whether they be people who are in recovery like myself, or people who maybe are more recreational gamblers but can quite easily sort of turn into more problem gamblers with a constant level of encouragement and indeed, like I say, triggers to sort of take action and I'll go online and have a punt. So this isn't a personal attack on anyone who makes online gambling content. Like I say, I think any form of gambling promotion has the potential to be extremely harmful. So it's not a defence either, but it's just saying that I think the overall presence, and to an extent, like I say, the overall image of online gambling, when it's everywhere, when it's being advertised all the time, when you're seeing all these videos online, when you're seeing all these promotions on social media and people getting big wins and all the rest, left, right and centre, all of that, I think it makes a more acceptable and in some extent a more glamorous or cool kind of image around particularly online casinos, online slots and roulette and stuff like that. And I think with that dying down, the chance that people either enter the sphere or become more frequent gamblers or problem gamblers actually does reduce, and I think that can only really be a positive thing. Talking about things of that nature, I've had many attempts at addressing a topic, so I'm just going to quickly slip it into this video rather than make a dedicated video about it, because the last 3 or 4 videos I made on this topic I've deleted without publishing, and that's this rise in sort of anti-gambling YouTube content. And I'm not talking about the nature of what I do, Second Chance, Invisible Addiction, Gambling Sucks, Andy Margate even back in the day, I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the bombardment of personal attacks against streamers and content creators by specific channels. Now, I'll preface this by saying that it would be remiss of me not to acknowledge the massive rise in what can only be, if we look at it on a logical fiscal level, rise in fake money and subsidised gambling content, almost certainly from Europe, and a lot of the new faces and the ridiculous stakes and insane balances. Obviously, Rothstein, for example, was always an outlier in that field. His stakes and his level of deposits and stuff were always so absurd that he stood out a million miles from as being something of juxtaposed to the rest of the crowd, and that's what made him stand out as almost certainly disingenuous at best, fake at worst. And then there's a significant amount of people now that have entered that sort of domain of insanely high stakes, €100,000 bonus hunts and all this sort of ridiculous nonsense that can only be fake or subsidised in some way, shape or form. So yes, my opinion has changed a lot. I know when I very, very first made a video on online content and streamers and affiliates and all the rest of it, it was my understanding from people that I know in the industry that I've spoken to that the vast majority of the time, particularly in the UK, people were using money from their own accounts. Now, this isn't to say that it wasn't subsidised, of course, by affiliate sign-ups and all the rest of it, but it was at least their money that they could withdraw and spend on themselves if they so wished. I think there's been definitely a shift from that. So yes, my opinion in that respect has changed. However, I think the perpetuation of just abusing these people, there's, I think if someone is doing something specifically wrong and harmful, they're perfectly, it's perfectly justifiable to challenge that, to talk about it. But I think there's a couple of channels, and I'll name no names, that just put out videos daily, often more than daily, with extreme, clickbaity kind of titles, naming all these people, and the content is very poor. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't add anything to a debate. It doesn't add anything to a discussion. It doesn't actually take any positive steps to either helping people in a position of gambling vulnerability, nor does it really take any steps to removing these fake people off of the platform. It's just the cynical side of me would suggest it's just a means by which to grow a channel, and what that channel becomes in the future, who knows? We don't know. I don't know the end game, but I don't think it's helpful, particularly when you look at these videos and they don't have anything positive to add to people who might be suffering from gambling addiction. Look, my videos are often a little bit ranty. They're not always. I never claim to be an expert. I never claim to be holier than thou. I've got the fair share of skeletons in my closet. My list of vices as my life has gone on is as long as your arm. So I'm not Mr. Clean Cut and pure and perfect. But I think that at least when you watch my video, I do try and help people. I put the right links in the description and whatever, and I want people to sort of be in recovery if that's what they want to do. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Like I say, they're feeding off hatred of streamers, and a lot of the hatred of streamers, yes, it's because they're fake and they're disingenuous and they're promoting a dangerous product, of course, but I think it would be disingenuous for me to say I think that a lot of the hatred of streamers comes off the hatred of casinos and the hatred of losses, doesn't it? If we were winning, if we were all flying high and making loads of money gambling, then I'm not sure we'd have the same animosity towards these people. And I think just to capitalise on that and the popularity of hatred in order to build a YouTube channel, which I don't know what the plan is, but it just doesn't sit very comfortably with me. I'd much rather sit and watch Gambling Sucks ramble for half an hour. He's a self-confessed rambler, so I'm sure he won't take that offensively. I'd much rather watch that than a 2-minute video of some screenshot of some streamer with a big balance and saying, "Oh look, they're all fake," because I don't think it really adds anything to the anything to mix, does it? But on top of that, I've been still getting lots of comments, even though I've not been recording videos. Thank you very much. It's really appreciated. Sorry again that I've not been replying, but I didn't see the point in just punting out videos left, right, and centre just for the sake of doing that. One thing I will address, because it kind of annoys me, and I'm here now and I am ranting, so I might as well. I must get at least a couple of weeks on my old videos, because I haven't done it since the pandemic, but people are saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be recording videos while you're driving," and people say, "Oh, it's not safe." Now, just to address those people, because like I say, it doesn't affect 99% of you, but I just want to get it off my chest, really. When I was doing those videos when I was in my car, the camera was attached to the windscreen. It was totally hands-free. I had a Lavalier mic on, so I didn't have to speak. If you look, I don't very rarely look at the camera. You might see me glance to the left. That car I was driving was an X-Trail, and anyone who knows X-Trails, all the dashboard, the centre console, the speedo, and that is all in the middle. So if I'm glancing towards the middle of the dashboard, that's where all the dials and stuff were. And I don't get the logic behind it, because if you're in a car with a passenger, you might be chatting to your passenger, mightn't you? And then you've got to listen out for responses. All I'm doing is rambling into a static camera, that requires no interaction from myself. It doesn't require me to take my hands off the steering wheel at any one point. If you're singing along to the radio, that's probably more distracting than me talking about something that I know off the top of my head to a fixed point camera. So I don't get your point. And no one goes on to these automotive channels with people who film themselves driving and reviewing cars, and nobody goes on there and says, "Oh, you shouldn't be recording yourself while you're driving." So I don't get your point. Everyone else, people have been sharing. Sorry about that mini rant. People have been sharing lots of their stories with me. Some really positive, which is always lovely to read. Some less positive, and to those people, stay strong. Keep watching my videos. Keep searching for help online. Stick with it. If you fall off, get back on the horse, keep going, because that one time you start quitting will be the last time you start quitting, and you can start your recovery for real. So stay strong, do that. Hope everyone's enjoying themselves post-lockdown. Hope you're all enjoying socialising, getting back to a relative normality, and hopefully that's a normality without gambling. I will probably make more videos in the future, but like I say, in the meantime, I don't see the point in just going over and over the same topics, as the videos are already here for everyone to watch if you want to watch them, Hopefully there will be something in there that will help you. But rest assured that I'm okay. I plan to continue to be okay. I will be back in the future at some point, I'm sure of it. But until then, please all take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay sane, and stay gamble free, and I look forward to speaking to you all in the future. Take care everyone, and thank you for watching and subscribing.